How's it going, guys? My name's Marty. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For anybody who caught the last video where I was talking about a cool guitar I got that arrived broken, it is now been fixed and I thought I would do a video talking about it. So yeah, this is the guitar in question. So it's a Caparison Dellinger, which is their sort of Strat shape, but Caparison is sort of more known for rock and metal guitars, so it's definitely their take on, I would say, like a super Strat. I'll maybe just talk about the spec on this guitar because it is quite a bit different than a standard Dellinger. So it's very exotic looking. Like this reminds me of some of the private stock builds that PRS would do. Okay, the guitar's model name is a Dellinger, so it's the Dellinger II FX-MBASCL. So a bit of an Ibanez sounding name there, but I think the CL at the end there relates to it being a custom line. So I'm just going to rhyme off some of the specs here because I've found the description from the shop that was selling them. So these were available in 2017 and there was only 12 of them. And as far as specs go, so the body shape is the Dellinger, which is Caparison's Strat type style body, but obviously they're more rock and metal focused. So the top is maple burl, which is why that is so highly figured. You know, there's so many different patterns going on there. It's really nice to look at. It looks really exotic. You can imagine a very high-end looking coffee table made out of this, and I love how it has this sort of reveal to the ash below it. The back of the guitar is made out of heavy ash, so you can see that sort of contrast between the ash and the burl top. So that's how thick the top is, which is pretty cool. It's got a maple neck, you know, tried and tested. And then there's that nice, quite unique Caparison join there with the bolt-on design. The back is also very highly figured with the ash, now that I think about it. The fretboard is made out of Macassar ebony. I'm not too sure how you pronounce it, but it's where it's more figured. You know, it's not your straight up black blank of ebony that you see on a lot of guitars, which is very nice in its own right. Caparison seems to have used ebony for the longest time. Macassar ebony has like this sort of streaked look to it. I've heard people referring to it as streaky ebony. So obviously just to fit in with the rest of the guitar's aesthetics, you know, very highly figured looking woods. I imagine that's the reason why it's been chosen. I'll maybe just talk about some of the specs which are quite standard for Caparison at this stage. So it's got the really cool devil's tail headstock. One of my favorite headstocks when it comes to guitar design. It just looks super metal and really mean. And it's got a bit of a tilt back on it, which is why there's no string trees. It's got hip shot open gear lock and tuners, very reliable. They've become industry standard to some description now because they're just rock solid. It's also got the hip shot hardtail, again, very reliable, very standard on higher end guitars nowadays. It's got 24 jumbo frets, so this was before the big trend of brands moving to stainless steel frets. The fretwork seems to be very good, so I don't really mind at all. I have plenty of guitars that don't have stainless steel frets, and I think both are great. There's no inlays in this guitar, so they're known for their really nice clock inlays, and from what I understand with this model, they decided on no inlays because the wood was so highly figured, so they didn't want to take away from that. So it's just got the side dots up the side. I believe are glow in the dark. I haven't looked at them in a dark environment just yet, but they have a bit of a green hue to them right now. So I'm gonna guess that they are actually luminlay, glow in the dark inlays, which is obviously handy if you're a tour musician, you know, someone who's on a dark stage, something like that. The guitar pickups are Caparison's own pickups, and I think these sound phenomenal. I have another Caparison with them in it, and I wasn't sure what they were going to sound like. They just sound like high output PAF style pickups, which is actually my favorite type of pickup, really. The model names are Caparison PHF for the neck and Caparison PHR for the bridge. So I don't really know what the F and the R stand for there, but great sounding pickups. Just realized I didn't talk about the nut. It's a Graph Tech nut. I knew with Caparison it was going to be a higher end part, so it could have been Tusk, but Graph Tech seems to be something that's used on a lot of high end guitars. Switching wise, you've just got one volume, which I love. I don't like a tone knob personally. I'm more of a rock metal player, and I just, you know, love having essentially an on-off switch. So a volume knob's perfect for me, and then it just has a 3-way toggle to get, you know, bridge humbucker, bridge and neck humbucker, you know, the tried and tested, very traditional pickup switching. Finish wise for the guitar, obviously a big highlight of this is being able to see how figured all the woods are. So it's not stained, it's just a satin finish from what I understand. Well, I'm gonna guess the top is darkened with something to get that sort of darker stain, but in terms of how the finish feels, it's like it's a matte finish, so you know it's very smooth on your hands and stuff like that. There, it doesn't feel glossy. But this has to be one of the nicest guitars in my collection. You know, from an aesthetic standpoint, like the wood, I can't get over how nice it looks. It just looks super exotic, super high end. And it's worth saying I got a very good price on this, buying this used in the UK. But I had a look, they still make custom lines today, and they are so expensive. Like the standard Caparison, like core Dellinger, is about $4,000 now. So for something like this here, I'd say you could be easily, you know, £1,000 more than that, or maybe even 2,000. So you could be talking $6,000 for one of these. I paid nowhere near that, thankfully, but I got a used one, and it's phenomenal. So it's why I'll always recommend looking for guitars secondhand. I usually talk about if there's anything I would change in these guitars. I don't think I'd change a single thing in this. It sounds amazing. The pickups are great. It plays really well. Maybe gonna put some thicker gauge strings on it because I feel like the low E doesn't have enough tension for me personally. I'm considering swapping the strap buttons to something like the shallow locking strap buttons, but other than that, not a single thing. Didn't come with a hard case, didn't come with a certificate of authenticity, which is a wee bit annoying, but sometimes that's what happens with used guitars. So, but again, I got a very good deal on this, and I would only be interested in those things if I ever plan to sell it, which I don't think I will, because this is really nice and I love these guitars. I have another Caparison that might go if I end up playing this guy way more, because it's another Dellinger and I just don't need to keep two of the same guitar. I'll do a video on it as well before it sells if I choose to sell it. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about this guitar or any of the other guitars that I've shown in these videos, please let me know. I try to respond to everything. I'm also really trying to get to 2,000 subscribers, and I'm very close. I'm really trying to get the watch time up so I can actually monetize things. So if you don't know, it's a bit of a nightmare to do that on YouTube now. You need 3,000 watch time hours, which is crazy, as well as the 1,000 subscribers, which used to be the standard. If you had that, you could monetize, but now you need the watch time hours. So I'm trying to post a lot more. I'm trying to keep things nice and varied. So please, if you like this sort of stuff, hit the subscribe button, like, comment. It all helps get the videos out from what I can understand. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.